up, YouTube? It's your girl PM coming to you with the PM vlog, and my vlog is going to be about one of the most important and momentous experiences I've ever had, and that was the birth of my daughter and AM's daughter, the birth of our child, of little Miss Ruthie. I wanted to share it and record it. It was a pretty cool experience, and can look back on that experience as pretty positive. I had a birth plan before I went in. I was gonna try not to take any pain management or big pain management like epidurals, and just try to have experience the labor and all the feels and know what it felt like. I was gonna try and do that. I wasn't like opposed. I was definitely open to like, if I need some type of medical attention, like, yeah, I'll take that. Try and do it all on my own and on my own body. And then have clear communication of like what was happening, what they're gonna do before they do it. So, because I haven't gone to the hospital before for myself, and so I'm like, I don't know what's gonna go on. I was kind of nervous going in, but I'm like, just clear communication. I'm open to modern medicine and what they have to offer, but just like, let me know what's going on. And then I also just wanted to have like a calm, peaceful, positive vibe in my labor room, and that meant like good music, and I don't know what I really meant. I wrote it on my worksheet. I want positive vibes, and they put it on a whiteboard, like, oh, my birth plan, good vibes. Oh, I also wanted skin to skin contact with my baby after her being born, and then a delayed cord clamping, which means just like having all the blood come out of the umbilical cord before they cut it. And when I went into the hospital, they're like, oh yeah, we already do all this stuff. So that was really great. How I got into the hospital was I was having a regular gynecology appointment, my ultrasound and a non-stress test done for that day. And this was about, I think about a week before my due date. And so I went in there on the same day. One appointment was in the morning, one was in the afternoon. So I went to my morning appointment per usual to check in with my doctor, and my blood pressure was pretty elevated. My doctor said, and I was feeling normal, but she's like, ooh, if this is still elevated at your next appointment today, don't be surprised if they send you to the hospital. And that kind of freaked me out. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's gonna happen. Oh boy. So, I went home and kind of did some more preparations, told AM, like, hey, get things ready because we might have to go to the hospital today to be induced, depending on how my next appointments are. I got an ultrasound. Baby was doing good, but she did have there was extra amniotic fluid, which proves to be a little bit risky during the birth process. And then she also she didn't score super high on like a breathing test. The nurse I think she was kind of sleepy this day, but she was trying to, see some good breaths in the womb, and she passed, but it wasn't that great. And so at the end, in that second appointment, my blood pressure was still elevated. It didn't go down. Yeah, the doctor was like, I really recommend you guys go to the hospital, like get your things and go. She set it all up over there, is across the street from the doctor's office, to go get induced. And so, yeah, I was a little bit surprised. I got a little bit emotional, like, oh gosh, this is really happening. But also in the back of my mind, it was kind of nice having like that decision made already for me, like, okay, you're gonna go to the hospital now and get induced, because I was kind of nervous about, having labor pains or like not knowing what to do when I was at home and like when to go to the hospital. So it was nice that decision was already kind of made, like, all right, you're gonna go in, you're gonna get monitored and get things started. So I went in, we got checked in the hospital. The first thing that they did were to put IV ports in your arms, because that's how they administer all the medicine, and they have to do it kind of in like your forearm so you don't bend on it and stuff. And that might have been one of the top painful things for me that happened, because my veins are really small, and it took the nurses like 4 times, maybe 5, to get a needle in and get the IV port. They couldn't get it in, and they had to get an ultrasound doctor to find my vein and put an IV in. And after that was done, it was good. But I was left with really bad bruises on both my arms from them trying to poke an IV in me. I was so, yeah, it just felt icky. Just them just kind of digging around and burrowing in your arm with the needle, trying to find a vein. That wasn't, yeah, that part wasn't really fun. It was pretty painful and just so uncomfortable. At that time, my cervix was really closed. I was probably dilated like 1 centimeter, and they were being generous. So they needed to give me some drugs to get open and start dilating and stuff. And so they did start that. And the thing they did to help me with that is that they inserted a water balloon inside my cervix. And that was pretty crazy. The balloon was like this big, and yeah, they put it in. It kind of pushes pressure on like your cervix and vagina to get that closed up and shortened. So I had that inside me, and that part didn't hurt because I did take a little bit of a pain management. I took some fentanyl to help with that, and that was great. Gave me some more medicine, and I did start having some contractions for like a couple hours, for like 10, like every like 5 minutes, and that was pretty uncomfortable. I thought that was really hard because it's like 3 hours of having like these constant contractions. Or the next day I felt like okay. I did a lot of walking around, and I had a visitor come in, our cousin Corey. That was cool. I think day 2 was like pretty mellow and like alright. And then, but that night they gave me another dose of whatever medicine to get more labor stuff going on. And that was really, really rough. And I had probably the whole night contractions that were non-stop. Like I would just like get tightened, and it would hurt, and then I would get a breather and end, and then right when I got like could catch my breath, it would happen again. And so I just like spent the whole night like kind of moaning, and then like also just trying to breathe through it. That's like the only thing you can is do like some really good deep breaths, and I'm going and that kind of helps. So I was making those noises all night, and it was so bad. But I didn't take any medicine for it, and I just kept pushing through. But it was really rough and awful. And by the next morning, I was so exhausted and just I wasn't happy. Like that was probably like the toughest like labor stuff that I had to go through. There just wasn't a break for like 8 hours. Contractions without like any breaks. There were just one after the other contractions, and I just felt so exhausted. I didn't feel happy. I felt really like just like a dark cloud over me. I'm just like, I am not happy. I'm not excited to have a baby. And I kind of felt almost like defeated. Like, I don't know how I'm going to go on. And so the nurse did offer like, you can't take pain management. And I was like, yeah, I think I'm ready for an epidural. Because I don't know, I'm just not happy. I just felt awful. At first, I kind of was like sad and kind of a little bit defeated, but I also was like, I think this is the best thing for me. I need to, because I don't know how I'm going to be able to go on in this labor process, knowing like there's going to be more of this. And it was already a hard day. Like I just thought I'm not going to enjoy my baby when she comes out if I keep going through this pain. Was kind of what I thought. And so I decided to take an epidural. Just felt like this really nice, warm, tingly feeling on your legs, and felt so calm. It's like so great. So I got to relax. Like, I just didn't feel anything. I got really comfortable. Like, my whole body just felt so good and comfortable. And I slept all day. I just slept. And it felt so good. I think I was having contractions still, but like I couldn't really feel them. I could like just sleep through them, like, ooh, and then go to sleep. And it was really great until like that afternoon. They were checking my cervix and they're like, oh, you're dilated 10 centimeters. Like, things are going, like, things are really good. And I just like woke up from a nap. I'm like, oh, I'm all ready. Like, oh, I was so excited because I had rested. I didn't feel like pain at all. I was so excited. They're like, oh man, we're gonna be needing to push soon. The nurses got everything ready, and I was really happy because I got rest and I didn't feel anything, and so I was really excited. And yeah, having an epidural was like the best choice for me, best decision. I could feel like what a contraction would feel like, and when you feel the contraction, just kind of felt like, you know, a little bit of like a little tightness, but didn't hurt. And then you push during that, and you have to kind of like, I couldn't feel like really what was going on. I really just had to like use my imagination and breath work to push down there, and you kind of just like have to push like you're pooping, I think, is the closest thing that you can do, and just like pretend like, all right, let's push down there and just push hard during their ear contraction, then take a break. And I probably did that for 59 minutes, I think, until she popped out. But before that, Am was cheering me on and being really supportive. He was supportive the whole time. I would like to make a record of that. Supportive and loving and caring the whole time. I guess they could see, like, you know, oh, her top of her head's coming out. They could see her head for like a really long time. And I just kept pushing, like doing what they told me to do and pushing and breathing through. And then after, it didn't seem that long at all. It didn't seem like I was pushing for like almost an hour, but I was. Okay, this is the one. This is where you need to push. She's gonna come out. And I felt the contraction. I pushed. I felt kind of like this like release, not painful at all, just like a hoop, a pop, and then I just hear the baby just scream. And then like they held her up and just kind of like wet, just like she just screamed, and I was like, holy moly. And I started crying, and they put her on my chest. And I wasn't expecting her to be like so warm and kind of like slippery. And I thought she was gonna slip. And so I was so nervous. I'm laying down, and they put her on my chest, and then they cover us up with like a heated blanket. And yeah, it was just amazing. And I was crying, and I'm just like, oh, I think she just looked so beautiful and cute, even if she was like a little messy, but she was still, she was beautiful and cute. And I'm just like, I was talking to her, I'm like, oh, you're so beautiful. I was so happy and excited to see her come out. And then, I kind of looked at her, and my first impressions were like, she's just kind of perfect looking to me. She's perfect. It was just amazing. And I'm just like, yeah, so happy with that experience. Like, it wasn't too painful, but I got to have a really long time with her on my chest and bonding and stuff, and it's really great. I had two consistent nurses for the daytime and nighttime. They worked 12-hour shifts. I loved those two nurses, and then I had a really good doctor who gave birth me, I guess. Birthed Ruthie. Yeah, when you have a baby, you're just kind of overfilled with like the biggest love feeling that you can ever have in your heart, and it's just great. And yeah, I recommend. Yeah, I almost want to have another one, maybe someday soon, but right now I'm enjoying Ruthie, who's still really healthy and doing great. Yeah, that's my birth story from the hospital. Thank you guys all for watching, and I'm gonna give you a big fat kiss.